Monster mayhem. Godzilla's reign of terror. The screen fades in on a chaotic cityscape engulfed in flames. Buildings crumble like sandcastles, cars flip through the air, and panicked crowds scatter in every direction. Amidst the chaos, Godzilla emerges from a cloud of smoke, letting out his iconic, earth-shattering roar. The camera zooms in on his menacing eyes as intense music pumps up the adrenaline. Hey folks, ever had one of those days where everything just goes monstrously wrong? Well, imagine a 300-foot tall radioactive reptile deciding to use your city as a playground. Today, we're diving headfirst into the legendary world of Godzilla, the king of the monsters. Since his first thunderous step back in 1954, Godzilla has been both a terrifying force of destruction and an unlikely hero, captivating audiences around the globe. From flattening entire city blocks to battling other colossal creatures, his reign of terror, and sometimes heroism, is the stuff of cinematic gold. The birth of a monster. Alright, let's set the scene. It's post-World War II Japan, a nation grappling with the devastating aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The shadow of nuclear destruction wasn't just a distant fear, it was a haunting reality. Radiation sickness, ruined cities, lost loved ones, it was a heavy time. In the midst of recovering and rebuilding, there was an undercurrent of fear and uncertainty about nuclear technology and its potential for catastrophic consequences. People were asking themselves, what have we unleashed upon the world? Creation of Godzilla, Gojira. Enter Godzilla, or as he's originally known in Japan, Gojira, a mix of gorira, for gorilla, and kujira, for whale. The idea was to personify the unimaginable destructive power of nuclear weapons into a tangible form, a gigantic, unstoppable monster awakened and empowered by radiation. The creators at Toho Studios wanted to make a statement, and boy, did they. Godzilla became the embodiment of nuclear devastation, a walking, stomping metaphor that couldn't be ignored. Release of the original 1954 film. When Gojira hit theaters in 1954, it wasn't just another monster flick. It was a poignant reflection of the fears and anxieties simmering in Japanese society. The film struck a nerve, resonating deeply with audiences who had lived through real-life horrors. Internationally, the movie was re-edited and released in 1956 as Godzilla, King of the Monsters, introducing this colossal creature to the rest of the world. And just like that, a legend was born, setting the stage for decades of monstrous mayhem. Godzilla's evolution through cinema. The Showa era, 1954 to 1975. Now, let's cruise through the Showa era, the golden age where Godzilla started to evolve, and not just in appearance. Initially portrayed as a terrifying villain, he gradually transformed into a more complex character. During this time, Godzilla went from city-smashing menace to a sort of anti-hero, and eventually, Earth's unlikely defender against even more fearsome foes. We were introduced to other iconic monsters like Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, expanding the monstrous universe. The films got a bit lighter in tone, sometimes downright campy, reflecting the changing attitudes of the time. Who can forget Godzilla's victory dance in Invasion of Astro Monster? Pure gold. The Heisei era, 1984 to 1995. Fast forward to the Heisei era, time to get serious again. The series was rebooted with The Return of Godzilla in 1984, wiping the slate clean of the Showa sequels. This Godzilla was back to being a menacing force of nature, and the films tackled darker themes. Advancements in special effects made the destruction more realistic and awesome to watch. The stories delved deeper into Godzilla's origins and his symbiotic relationship with humanity's own destructive tendencies. The Millennium Era, 1999 to 2004. Entering the new millennium, Godzilla got another fresh start. Each film in this era was almost like its own standalone reboot, giving filmmakers the freedom to reimagine the Big G in new and exciting ways. From Godzilla 2000, Millennium, to Godzilla Final Wars, we saw our favorite monster face off against both classic and new adversaries. The plots got wilder, the action more intense, and the stakes higher than ever. The Reiwa Era, 2016 present. Most recently, the Reiwa Era has brought us gems like Shin Godzilla, in 2016. Directed by the brilliant Hideaki Anno, this film reimagined Godzilla as a constantly evolving creature, symbolizing the unpredictable threats faced by modern society. It was a critical and commercial success, proving that Godzilla is as relevant today as he was over 6 decades ago. Plus, we've got animated features like the Netflix trilogy exploring futuristic takes on the legend. Iconic foes and allies. King Ghidorah. Now, let's chat about some of Godzilla's most noteworthy frenemies, starting with the dreaded King Ghidorah. This three-headed, golden dragon from outer space is arguably Godzilla's arch-nemesis. With gravity beams and a bad attitude, Ghidorah has clashed with Godzilla multiple times, each battle more epic than the last. Mothra. Next up is Mothra, the giant moth goddess and one of Godzilla's most intriguing counterparts. Mothra often represents nature and purity, contrasting Godzilla's destructive force. Sometimes they team up against bigger threats, other times they're at odds. Their relationship is complex, adding depth to the monster verse. Mechagodzilla. Can't talk monsters without mentioning Mechagodzilla. Humanity's response to Godzilla's might was to build a robotic doppelganger armed to the teeth. Mechagodzilla represents mankind's reliance on technology, sometimes to detrimental effects. Other notable monsters. Shout out to other memorable kaiju like Rodan, the supersonic flying monster, Anguirus, Godzilla's spiky-backed ally, and Biollante, a monstrous plant of doom born from Godzilla's own cells mixed with a rose. Each creature adds a new layer to the stories, whether as adversaries or allies, enriching the Godzilla universe. Godzilla's impact on global pop culture. Western adaptations. Godzilla didn't just stay in Japan, he made his way to Hollywood. Remember the 1998 Godzilla movie? Let's just say it was a creative take. Fans were split, many feeling it strayed too far from the source material. But it brought Godzilla into the limelight for a new audience. Legendary's Monsterverse. Then came Legendary Pictures with their Monsterverse, starting with Godzilla in 2014. Now this was a Godzilla that paid respect to the original while bringing something fresh. Followed by Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, and the much-anticipated Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021. These films expanded the universe. Influence on media and entertainment. Godzilla's stomp has echoed into various media, comics, TV shows, video games, you name it. He's been referenced in songs, parodied in shows like The Simpsons, and inspired countless artists. The character has become synonymous with giant monster, influencing franchises like Pacific Rim and Cloverfield. Merchandise and fandom. From action figures to collectible statues, Godzilla merchandise is a booming industry. Fans can't get enough. Conventions like G-Fest celebrate everything Godzilla, providing a space for enthusiasts to share their passion. Themes and symbolism in Godzilla films. Environmental commentary. Diving deeper, Godzilla movies often carry heavy themes beneath the surface-level destruction. Environmentalism is a big one. Some films portray Godzilla as nature's wrath incarnate, retaliating against humanity's careless exploitation of the planet. Technological fear. Another recurring theme is the fear of unchecked technological advancement. The creation of weapons of mass destruction, experiments gone wrong, and the hubris of playing God are common threads. Humanity's resilience. These films also highlight humanity's resilience and ability to come together in the face of unimaginable threats. Characters from different backgrounds unite to find solutions, embodying hope and perseverance. Godzilla's reign of terror explained. Analyzing destruction. Okay, so why so much smashing and crashing? Beyond the visual spectacle, the destruction wrought by Godzilla often serves a symbolic purpose. It forces us to confront the fragility of our modern society. Skyscrapers and technology can crumble in an instant. Godzilla as a villain, anti-hero, and hero. Godzilla's role shifts throughout the series. Sometimes he's the villain we fear, other times the anti-hero we reluctantly root for. This flexibility keeps the character fresh and allows for a wide range of stories and themes. Cultural reflections. Ultimately, Godzilla is a mirror reflecting societal concerns, be it nuclear war, environmental crises, or technological ethics. Over the decades, he's adapted to represent the predominant anxieties of the times. Behind the scenes. Special effects evolution. Now let's peek behind the scenes. How did they bring this behemoth to life? In the early days, it was all about suitmation, an actor in a heavy rubber suit stomping on miniature sets. It might sound cheesy, but the craftsmanship was incredible. Fast forward to today, And we've got cutting-edge CGI creating incredibly lifelike monsters and destruction. Directors and visionaries. We owe a lot to visionaries like Ishiro Honda, who directed the original film. His ability to blend spectacle with profound themes set the tone for the franchise. Others like Shusuke Kaneko and Gareth Edwards have brought their unique styles, pushing the boundaries. Music and sound design. And who can forget the music? Akira Ifukube's compositions gave Godzilla his iconic themes, blending ominous tones with triumphant melodies. The sound design, especially that legendary roar, was groundbreaking. Godzilla's roar was created using a leather glove coated in pine tar resin, rubbed against a double bass string. The future of Godzilla. Upcoming projects. So, what's on the horizon for our favorite kaiju? There's buzz about new movies and maybe even TV series in development. Could we see Godzilla teaming up with other classic monsters or facing new threats? Speculations and fan theories. Fans are theorizing all sorts of wild ideas, like the introduction of space monsters or even time travel plots. One thing's for sure. The fan community is alive with excitement, and where there's passion, there's bound to be more content.